Finally. Okay. Hi. I am a little bit late on this. When you test things out and like they worked yesterday and then for some reason today it said no thank you to my tech skills when I was trying to get this set up. So I'm so sorry if I am actually no, I'm not a few minutes late. I'm 12 minutes late. So I am so sorry about that. Hi guys. So that turned into a few minutes of panic while I tried to get everything ready. But anyways, so I just wanted to hop on tonight and maybe have a little bit of a quilting chat, see how everybody's doing and what you're working on, what's captured your interest right now. Y'all can feel free to use the chat. Let me see. Give me like a thumbs up if you can hear me okay, and let me know that everything is working on your end. Hi, Stacy and Robin. Hi. Again, my apologies. I'm a little bit late tonight, a little bit crazy because I was trying to get everything worked yesterday. It doesn't now, but I figured it out. So, anyways, so tell me where you're from. I would love to know where you're from. I think the chat is just a little bit delayed right now, but hey, Michelle. So tell me where you're from and what you're up to. What are you working on? What project has captured your interest right now? Because I would love to know. So Cynthia, hey, and B. Hi, B. Let's see. We got Chicago, Ontario. Awesome, Stacy. I bet you are having much, much better weather than we are right now. Right now, it's so hot outside. Oh my gosh, it's so hot outside. Oh, you did the jelly roll race, Michelle. That's awesome. I hope that you're very happy with the way that your quilt turned out. 48 strips, so you made it just a little bit bigger. I've done that a couple times too, where I just kind of added a couple extra strips in there, not really knowing what I was going to do with it, but it does. It makes it a little bit bigger. So, awesome. So, I spent some time today sewing. I have a friend that I went and I visited, and we sewed for quite a while today. I've got some quilts that I'm working on and some patterns that I am finishing up, designing and testing and making sure that everything is good to go. I can't wait to show you the finished product because they're going to be so pretty. They're going to be so pretty. But, I got some that I'm working on, but while I was sewing on that, she was on the long arm machine and working on another beautiful project. And so, yeah, I did a lot of sewing today. It felt really good. I've been working on that. I've been working on setting aside a few hours a week to just sew. No matter what, that's what I do. And that was part of the time today was we go over to her house and we sew. Let's see. A disappearing 4-patch. Okay, the disappearing patches might be capturing my interest next. I think I'm still kind of on like a pre-cut kick, but Stacy says she's working on the disappearing 4-patch, and I've seen like a disappearing 9-patch. I've seen a disappearing 4-patch. I've seen a disappearing I think it was a 12-patch or something. I might be making that last one up. But anyways, you can put disappearing and whatever number after it that you want. And it seems to be out there in the quilting world. So yeah, I might be doing that next. Another thing I'm always looking for ideas on how I can get amazing designs in quilting without a whole lot of extra effort, because not everybody likes working with pieces that are like this big, right? Just teeny tiny pieces. But when you start working with smart with your designs and have a pattern that you follow that actually really works with that, it's amazing to have the look of a ton of effort, but not the other side of it where you're having to work with pieces that are this big. So actually, I do have a question for you guys. So there's quite a few of you on the call right now, and I want to know who works with, excuse me, I'm pulling this over here right now while I'm talking. Who works with these? Does anybody work with AccuQuilts? Because I'm kind of starting to get into it. I've been intrigued for a long time. And, oh, sorry, that made it look like an earthquake, but it didn't. That was just me putting the thing back on the table. So I've been looking into it for a while, and I really, really like the idea of the AccuQuilt. But I want to know from people who have used the AccuQuilt machines what you think of it and what your favorite die cuts are, because I had a sweet reader said, hey, I have this on my shelf. Let me send it to you for you to play with, because in the last class that I taught, the Modern Quilting Made Easy class, several of the quilters were like, I use my machine all the time. I absolutely love it. But I didn't have any feedback to give them on it because I don't have one personally. So let's see. Diana says she has one and she loves AccuQuilt. I'm curious to know, what patterns do you use, Diana? Do you use like the ones that are suggested by the AccuQuilt company and actually come with each of the dies, or do you use the ones like actually use the dies and then do whatever you want with it and make it work for the other patterns? That's what I'm really curious about. Robin says, I'm looking for quick and easy quilt block pattern to make for an easy wheelchair cushion. Wheelchair cushion. Okay. I have like patterns for bags and like storage for like a walker, but I don't have a wheelchair cushion. Robin, I would probably kind of DIY that yourself, honestly. Like go in and measure the wheelchair, or if you can, like get kind of an estimate on it. And because I'm guessing you want like a lumbar cushion, you know, not necessarily like a butt cushion, but like a lumbar cushion, and see how high the person that you're making it is for. Because if you make a pillow like this high, it's going to be way too big for somebody who's shorter. So you might have to kind of DIY that and see what pillow forms are available. So Diana likes the strip dies. So whoa, I'm hitting the computer again. So the strip dies, Diana, those are like the ones that are like you can cut your own jelly rolls with those, basically, right? If I'm correct. And oh, B, I didn't know that you had the AccuQuilt. That's awesome. The 8-inch block and the sashing and the borders and the 4-inch squares. Yeah, I think I really, really would like the pre-cut size of like the 5-inch squares or like 6-inch squares or something like that. I think that I would really like that. Would you suggest using a I don't know. I'm curious to see like how much fabric is wasted when you actually do that. Like when you're using the AccuQuilt, how much fabric do you actually waste? Do you find that it saves more time than it does fabric? Or yeah, that's what I'm getting into with the AccuQuilt. I want to test it out. I want to see all these new fun gadgets and things, because, you know, I'm all about saving time, and I really love to figure out ways that can definitely improve productivity when I'm in the sewing room, because we don't have a lot of time in here. So, you know, if I can shave off a few seconds here and a few minutes there, then I'm totally for it. So, hi, Tina. So you're from Oregon and you're a newbie. Hi, it's nice to meet you. I was just talking about AccuQuilt, and you know, who else has tried it and who really, really likes it. And B, I may be calling you a little bit later to get me a little bit more information on it and just talk to somebody who is a little bit more experienced with it. So what all are you guys working on right now? Do you have anything that has captured your interest? I've had a ton of feedback on all of the pre-cut series that I've been doing, right? Like I've done multiple videos. I know y'all keep asking for more patterns and more patterns, and I'm working on them. But the thing is, I like to test those patterns before I tell you, hey, go sew this. It looks really easy, right? So I have to test those patterns. And I don't guess I have to, but I like to because I don't want to recommend something that I haven't tried myself. So I'm working on trying stuff for you and figuring things out, but I haven't got a whole ton to share with you. I've shared some easy patterns on my YouTube channel, and I've shared some on my blog as well. But I'm still testing out some more patterns, and I have some really great news to share with you in just a minute. The chat is going up just as fast. So if you have any questions for me, I know I got one in my email a few minutes ago. I'm trying to. It's like way over there. I'm trying to read. I think it was from Judy, who said that she's making a round. Judy, if you're on here, help me out here. You're making a round table cover, I think, and you're having a hard time finding patterns for it. Now, if you're making something that's custom, a lot of times you're not going to find a pattern that is going to fit exactly what you're looking for. So I would think really long and hard. And this goes for anybody who wants to make something custom. Also that wheelchair pillow that we were talking about just a few minutes ago. Anytime you want to make something custom, you think long and hard how it's going to be used. Okay. So kind of work backwards. Like, how is it going to be used? Is it going to be for like the lower back? Is it going to be for like a taller person? We talked about that with a wheelchair pattern. For the table cover, circle is really hard to find because your fabric is only like, 40 inches by however long, how many yards you go, unless you went for like the really wide back and you can get 120, but that still is probably not going to cover most of your table. So you're going to have to look at how you can cleverly cover up those seams, right? So think about like the base of like a Christmas tree. Those are round, but oftentimes you see those in wedges. So you're looking at like wedges like this that then put together to make up the circle, almost like a clock, where you've got the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, all of that all the way around. So you may, when you're working on like a circular table cover, you may want to do it in wedges instead of trying to piece together an entire quilt. Another thing you can do is figure out some creative ways or stripes even to hide your seam so it doesn't look like you've just pieced together a bunch of weird bits to get to the circular shape. Let's see. Let me check the chat real quick because it's gone up further while I was talking about covers here. Okay. So going back to the AccuQuilt for just a minute, it says I use the dies and the block patterns that they have. I've also found making squares are great for making the hexies and stashing die cut. Okay. I will have to check into those and see. Yes. Okay, Diana, you're saying you have to be careful with AccuQuilt. You have to be careful when you're measuring the fabric so that you waste as little as possible, but it does save time. Okay, I'm going to pull this out next week and play with it. I haven't had the time yet. It's nearly the end of summer here, and the kids are going back to school. I think we have 2 full weeks left, and then they go back to school. So they're in a mad rush to try and fit in absolutely everything that they wanted to fit in the whole last several months, but then they got lazy and didn't do that. So now they're trying to fit it all in. Hi to Norway. Wow, you're a long way. I want to go to Norway really bad. Hi, Marie. You're new to quilting and ready to get started. If you have any questions, and this goes for anybody, if you have any questions, I am happy to answer beginner questions on quilting. I think it's really important to have somebody that you can just say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, and not have any judgment and not have to go searching down rabbit holes on the internet to figure out what it is. If you have any questions, y'all are always welcome to email me. I'm happy to answer those. And I do go back to my emails every single day and go through them myself. Oh, Marie, you're from Texas, living in Richmond. So, funny story. I am a native Texan, and we lived in Virginia Beach for 3 years while my husband worked in Norfolk because he was in the military. So, I know Richmond area very, very well. Let's see, 2.5 inch strips on the AccuQuilt. That seems to be a really, really popular one. I could tell that was on Amazon and on their site a lot. Mary, hi Mary, you reside in Washington State. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sugarland is really not that far from me. It's like maybe 20 minutes. So, Mary, that's awesome that your kids live down here. Grandkids live down here. Kids and grandkids. Sorry. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. Lots of people. Illinois, Maine, and Rochelle, my sweet girl. Mwah. Hi. So, yeah, lots of good quilting friends on here tonight. Yeah, it's been fun. I've been working on all of these pre-cuts and like I said, trying to figure out what patterns that that I can pass on to you that are really tried and true good patterns. I don't like recommending a bunch of patterns that I haven't done myself. So if you do have a question, it's really easier for me to see over in the chat if you put them in all caps if you get a chance. I'm happy to answer quilting questions. I'm happy to answer like, I have this idea question. How do I go about doing it? Because that's really what the quilt community is about, right? Is you want to be able to just bounce ideas off of other people and get their experience and, get multiple years of experience, all of our heads together doing one project. So, it's good. So, okay, what I was going to tell you, it's a little bit spastic brain today, but what I was going to tell you is I have, for all of you who've been following about the pre-cuts and all of the patterns and all of that, and asking for more patterns, I'm working on it. Okay. I have a quilting retreat that I am planning, and it is going to be September 24th through the 26th. If you're on my email list, you may have gotten a different date for that. But when I got the kids' school calendar, things didn't work for what I had planned. Okay. So we had to pivot around their school calendar. So September 24th through the 26th, I have a quilt retreat. Now, I did a quilt retreat last summer, and it was amazing. We had so much fun. We made lots of different projects, and I tended to focus on projects that could get done in that one weekend. And, we got to do all these live calls, and we had so much fun. But summer got away from me. I don't know what happened. Summer got away from me. I'm sounding like my kids right now because, like I said, they were trying to pack everything into the last 2 weeks of summer. But I finally set dates for a new quilt retreat, and hopefully it'll be a little bit easier for some people to attend, because I know last time, taking a whole weekend away when you have kids is just, it's hard, right? It's hard. So September 24th through the 26th, the theme is pre-cuts. Okay. Pre-cuts. We're going to do easy, quick, fast quilt tops that are going to look amazing. And it's not going to be your typical stuff. I've created 3 new patterns, and you're going to get more information about that tomorrow. Okay. I wanted to give y'all kind of the sneak peek of what's going to happen, but you're going to work on 3 new patterns that I have reserved specifically for this retreat. And we're going to get to have lives, and I have classes that I want to teach that are topics that I think are really, really important for quilters to know about. But, I don't always get the opportunity to shoot YouTube videos on them. So I'm saving those classes for this retreat as well. It's going to be really, really fun. Check your calendars. If you're available those dates, I highly, highly suggest you come to my quilt retreat. Not to be selfish, but I love you guys, and we have so much fun at these quilt retreats. And I do. I have the best quilting friends in the whole world. And yeah, we do. We have a really, really good time. So September 24th to the 26th, pre-cuts. and I will give you like a shopping list beforehand so you'll know which pattern you want to work on, which pre-cuts you'll need to buy or create, or if you have AccuQuilt, which ones you need to cut. All of that will be given to you way in advance so that you will have the opportunity to go shopping for all of that. And as with all of my classes, you're not on your own. Okay, you're not on your own at all. I have videos that are going to go through step by step how to make each of those blocks so that you'll know exactly what you're doing, and it'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Last time we had such a ball. So not that I'm not doing anything in the background, but that's what's taken a lot of my time recently too, is making sure that those patterns are perfect and testing out some of the other patterns on the internet so that I can, show you what else is really fun in the pre-cut world. So let me ask y'all a question. I shared a video last week where I kind of thought, I shared that in the very beginning of my quilting stages, I was a snob when it came to pre-cut fabrics, and I'm obviously not anymore, but I'm curious. I've gotten a couple emails from people who said that they felt the same way, and that now that they're kind of converted because, we tend to look for a life that has easy things in it now, right? So I'm curious if you have felt the same way about pre-cuts before, or if it's just a select few of us. So drop it in the chat and let me know if you are pro pre-cuts or if you are just getting used to them, or you really haven't done them, or maybe you've done that all the way from the very beginning. I'm curious what the census is here. Let's see, Vicky, or no, let's go up a little bit. Terry, hi. Terry just took my Modern Quilting Made Easy class, and her quilt is stunning. She says she's still finishing it, but Terry, no pressure, but I have got to see a picture when you finish it because your quilt was gorgeous. Let's see. Monique is from Toronto. Hey, sweet girl. Vicky has a panel of a raccoon. She put borders on it, and now it's in a sandwich and coming up with free motion quilting. So free motion quilting is where it's just all over. The curves and the lines and the designs and all of that is just from your brain to the quilt. So if you're looking at ideas for free motion quilting, I might take like what I've done with this with my phone multiple times is if your phone has this, mine has like a little stylus that I can pull out from the side. I think mine's the Galaxy Note or something. But if you can take a picture of the top of your quilt, like with your phone, and then you can take like a stylus or something else and be able to draw some designs on the quilt without having to put your quilt through the machine, without like fear of having to like pick out the stitches and all of that, that seems to help me figure out how I want to quilt it a lot of times. That way it's there's no commitment. You just take it and you just erase it and start over again. But it kind of helps to see the quilt as a whole, and also really you can grasp where your skills lie. Okay. You want to challenge yourself just a little bit because we always want to grow as a quilter, but you don't necessarily want it to be something that you're going to hate the entire time because it's really, really, really hard. So, also decide who the quilt is for and how much time you want to spend on it. If you want to do something very, very labor intensive, or if you just want to do something like quick and done and get it out of here, that can be a good way to help decide that as well. Okay. A lot of people like pre-cuts. I love them now too, by the way. I just, I don't know. It was something that I just thought I didn't need in the very beginning, but I suppose I really do need it because I've had so much fun with them. So B was at my lemonade retreat last summer, and I had multiple patterns in that retreat as well. And she can attest, we had so much fun during that retreat. Kathy, the retreat is a virtual retreat. Okay, so I'm not asking anybody to travel or do anything just yet, simply because, how can I put this? We like to spend money on fabric, and I do want to have an in-person retreat someday, but I'm not quite there yet. I want to let a little bit more time pass before I ask everybody to travel around the United States. So the retreat is a virtual retreat, and we'll do lives like this, but we'll probably do them over Zoom. That way we are, not, you want to be in person, but we can't be in person. So we're going to do it over Zoom. And I can't find the words right now to explain it, but B can tell you it works. It works. And it works really well. This is how I do my other classes too. My Modern Quilting Made Easy, which is like, start to finish on a quilt from beginning to end in 8 weeks. I'm so sorry. I feel a sneeze coming on, but it's not going to happen. But But so the Modern Quilting Made Easy is a class that starts from the very beginning of a quilt to the very end of a quilt in 8 weeks. And we do it over Zoom too. But my retreats, I love to do virtually because you don't have to leave your house. You don't have to worry about like who's going to feed the dog, who's going to feed the family, who's going to take care of things, travel and all that. It's very, very stressful. Also, if you have not been to a quilt retreat before, you end up taking like your whole craft room. So this makes it easier in terms of you just pick up your computer and bring it over to your sewing machine, and we sew together, and we talk about our projects, and we ooh and we ah over all that we've done and accomplished. And then, like I said, I go into other topics that are informative and good learning topics to just broaden your quilt knowledge. The cost, I'm still, what did I say? The cost was going to be, it was $87.95 was the cost. And that's the whole weekend. That includes all of the patterns. That includes the bonuses. I also have a gift for you that I will be sending you. And that includes the trainings, everything. Now, I'm going to send out an email tomorrow that has all of those details, as well as a video. So you'll be able to see that, Kathy, and see like what all is included, and, also be able to register and that too. That way you can get it on your calendar. Let me see. That's right, Terry. It does. Pre-cuts are really good for people who are having a hard time getting perfect. I'm so sorry. The dogs are making a weird noise. Pre-cuts are good for people who have a hard time getting perfect squares and perfectly straight lines in your cutting, which is really hard too, especially if you don't have like the proper amount of space. It's hard when you're like the table's too low or the table's too high. Pre-cuts are a really good option for that too. Oh, Terry, I'm so glad that you're going to finish your butterfly quilt. Let me see. Yes, so it's fun to see everybody in the classroom on Zoom, and you can have group discussion. And the retreats, Michelle's asking, are the retreats all day, all weekend? So the way that I did it last year, and I think it worked really well, and I've also, goodness, we've all had our share of like Zoom calls over the last like year and a half. But the way that I did it was I had specifically timed calls. So I give you a schedule. And this is how like most in-person retreats work as well, is I give you a schedule, and I'm going to be teaching at this time, and this time. We have multiple live calls scheduled over the weekend, but there is time in between where, for you to go eat lunch, go like, if you have to work on your projects, which I highly encourage that. But the way that I structure it is I really, really encourage you to set aside as much time during the weekend as possible. Some of us have prior commitments, and it's really hard to set aside an entire weekend, but it's important for your creativity. You want to be able to focus on yourself and give yourself that gift of time to work on your quilting. Okay. So if you, think about it as if you went on vacation and you brought your laptop, you're never fully unchained from that laptop, right? It's always in the back of your mind wondering what's there. Should I be working on that? Should I be spending time with my family? So what I did is I have created a pre-retreat booklet to give you that has super easy meal ideas in it. Again, tried and tested by my family. My kids aren't really that picky, but ones that can be thrown together really, really fast so that you have the ultimate maximum amount of time to be spent quilting as possible. So to answer your question, it's as much time as you want to put into it, but there are pre-scheduled times that you can come. If you can't come to all the lives, then they are recorded and they will be posted for you to see and rewatch later on. Let's see. Yes, Terry, I will do another retreat. It probably won't be till the spring though, because once we hit like closer into the holidays and stuff, it gets a little bit harder to fit in for everybody. Chrissy, the retreat's virtual. I'm not asking you to come from Australia to here, but I want to go to Australia though. But Chrissy, if you want in on the retreat, I'm going to give more information on it tomorrow. I thought that I would have everything ready for you today, but like I say, it didn't happen today. But I will have everything ready for you tomorrow, everything that's included and all of that. So it is virtual, and you'll be able. Registration will start on that tomorrow. Kathy, you're asking how do I get how do you get on my email list? If you go to my website, I have tons of free downloads. I have free patterns. I have all kinds of stuff, blog posts, information, all of that on my website. It's iseestarsquilting.com. So ISEESTARS quilting, I'll let you spell that, .com. And so you can get on my email list there, and that will tell you all the fun things that I have going on, as well as like when a new blog post comes up, different classes that I open up from time to time, and all of that information. So yeah, fun things on my website. If you aren't familiar with my website, I know I have a lot of friends here on YouTube, but if you aren't familiar with my website, please go check it out. It's got a lot of fun stuff on there, and it's always a work in progress. There's always new things coming up and new ideas, but lots of free patterns. Probably one of the most popular things on there is, let me see, what can I direct you to like right away? Okay, so my Quilt Care 101 guide, that is hands down the most popular download on my website. Okay, so it is it's basically a 2-page PDF. One side of the PDF has everything you need to know to take care of your quilt. So as quilters, we spend a lot of time on our quilts. We hand pick out the fabric. We pick the designs. We take the time to cut it. We take the time to stitch it all together. Then we take the time to do the quilt sandwich, the basting, the quilting, binding, all of that stuff takes hours and hours and hours. And then we give this beautiful baby to somebody who has no idea how to take care of it. And this was kind of a surprise to me in the very beginning too. So, when you get a quilt and you want to wash it, it doesn't go on hot water in your washing machine. Okay. It does not go on hot water in your washing machine because you want this quilt to last for a very, very long time, right? If you wash it on hot water, it's going to deteriorate the life of your quilt. And so my Quilting 101 care is everything like that you would need to know. And it says it in a very, very nice way That way you don't happen to find your quilt at somebody else's house later on, falling apart just a few years into its life. When you know how much money you spent and how much time you spent on it, you want it to last for a very long time. So that's what that Quilt Care 101 is. And if you go onto my website, icystarsquilting.com, and you search up in the top bar, Quilt Care 101, that'll take you right to that download. You'll be able to get it. It'll send it to your email inbox, and then you'll be on my email list too. Which, by the way, I don't spam anybody. I only share quilting tips and tricks and the classes that I teach. And you're also welcome to unsubscribe at any moment that you feel like I'm too much or you're not having time for this or whatever. You're welcome to unsubscribe anytime. So no commitment, just fun quilting things. Robin says, I have a hard time with measurements with cutting a 4 3/8 inch square. Wow. I would love to see the pattern that requested 4 3/8 inch square. I would have a really, really hard time with that too, actually. Tell me a little bit more about the pattern and maybe I can see if it could be adjusted, because I like nice round numbers. I don't see any need for all of the extra little bitty ticks on the ruler, but maybe I can help you figure out either how to adjust the pattern or, another thing that you can do is it's like a thick vellum almost that is like a pattern paper that you can buy from most fabric stores or even like Hobby Lobby or somewhere like that, or a craft store would probably have it, where you can cut out your 4 3/8 inch square and make basically like a die for it. Or I don't have one right here by me, but you can make like a template. Okay, that way you can have something a little bit sturdier, a little bit thicker. You can also do it with cardboard, but you just have to be careful when you're cutting the cardboard, is you don't want to accidentally like shave off sections of your cardboard. So you want something a little bit thicker than cardboard. That way you can make your own template, and that might help you instead of like using just your regular ruler. So basically you would only decide one time like exactly this shape that you need, and then after that you're just making duplicates of it without having to actually look at the little tiny marks on the square. So hopefully, Robin, that gives you like a little easier time in cutting that. I don't know how many of those you have to do either, especially if it's a lot of them. That would be a big pain. Let's see. Kimberly asked, what basting method do you use? Oh, Melanie also suggested, Melanie suggested something I didn't think of right away. Tape on your ruler, which, give me 2 seconds because I can show you somewhere. Hold on, I'm coming. Okay, I'm coming. Sorry, I'm coming. Here we go. Yeah. So like right here, I have just tape stuck on mine. And this is actually like a ruler tape. You can see like it's clear, so you can see through it, but it's enough that when I'm laying it down on my fabric, I can see exactly where I need to cut. So that one was kind of in a weird space as well. I missed a question on here. What basting method do you use? Kimberly, I haven't forgot about you. So I like to use spray based, just a spray adhesive glue that washes out when you actually wash your quilt. But I like to use that to hold all of my layers together before I quilt. And then if it's a small quilt, I will only use the basting spray. And if it's a larger quilt, I probably, actually most every time I go back in and I use safety pins and just pin everything, loosely all over. I don't just use safety pins. If you just use safety pins, the general rule is whenever you put your hand down on the quilt, it has to be touching at least 2 safety pins. So you want all your safety pins closer together. If I already have basting spray on there and I use safety pins, they're more spread out, but I just want to give it that extra hold, because a lot of times when you have your batting, depending on how thick your batting is and what your batting is made of, your batting can kind of shift a little bit as well. Even though it's stuck good on top and it's stuck on the bottom, I kind of like to use the safety pins just to make sure that everything stays in line with where they're at. So hopefully that answers your question. Oh, okay. So Cherie has a really, really good idea for cutting and making templates. Dollar Tree, they're flexible cutting boards. That's a fantastic idea. Yeah, as long as you're really careful in making sure that when you're using your rotary cutter, you're not accidentally shaving off bits and pieces of it, because that will change your size over time, and you want to make sure that they all stay really, really the same size. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Other people are snobs when it comes to pre-cuts too. It's okay. I know I'm not the only one. Let's see. Michelle says, I found a video using spray starch for basting, my new go-to method. Holds well, no fumes, no mess. So spray starch. That's a really good idea. There is a recipe out there floating around on Pinterest for a basting spray, and it has like, don't quote me on this, but I think it's got like baking soda and water and I can't remember, maybe it's not vinegar because that's like a cleaning thing, but it's got something like that in it, where it's like a mixture of like 3 ingredients that you totally have around your house, and it's like way cheaper than buying like the cans of it in the craft store. But I have not tried it myself yet, but it's on the list. Someday I'll try it, and then I'll share that hack with you on whether or not it worked. But that's interesting. I have not heard of the spray starch for it, actually. So so that's your new go-to method, Michelle. Do you find that it's less expensive than using like the actual basting spray cans? It's been like, I don't know, it's been forever since I've actually bought like spray starch. So I'm curious how that holds up over time. It would wash out just fine without any problems. But do you find that it's less expensive than, you know, the actual spray basting? Cornstarch. Yes, cornstarch is the other ingredient in it, not vinegar. Yes, cornstarch. And let's see. Kimberly, you've been using thread basting. That's true too. Like sometimes just adding a couple extra seams in there where there or a couple extra lines of sewing, basting, where your stitches. So basting stitches, if you're not familiar with it on your sewing machine, are like really big, long stitches. So a basting stitch, I would say, would be like a 5 or so on your sewing machine. When I piece my quilts together, I use like a 1.8 stitch. So like really, really small stitches, because I don't want it to come apart. When I actually do my quilting, I normally do it about like a 3. And then, so if you're doing basting, you're going to want something that's really, really big, that's going to hold things together, but it's going to be really, really easy to rip out because it's not a permanent stitch. So basting would be like a size 5. And it's really, really helpful. But I could see how, if that's your only method for getting your quilt together, that it kind of be a pain. Yeah. Old cutting mats. Yeah. That's amazing. I love that idea, and I will totally be sharing that with everybody, because that's a new one on me, and I meet a lot of quilters, and that template paper and stuff is really, really good, but to be able to run to like Dollar Tree and get some old cutting mats, yeah, I will be sharing that tip and test it out and see how it goes. So, okay, Michelle says spray starch is under $2 a can. Not sure how long it holds. And then because you usually baste it and then quilt it within a week. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm going to test that one out too. So lots of fun things to test out. So before I knock things over, let me write that down real quick, because I don't want to lose that. So let me ask you, do you have any other questions for me regarding like patterns that you're doing, or ways to take care of a quilt or anything like that? I'm happy to answer any of the questions. I was kind of trying to keep this under, at about an hour tonight because I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'm happy to stay here and answer any questions that you have or sit here and chat or whatever. I don't get to do this very often. This was kind of my, hi, I'm taking tonight to talk to my quilters because I don't get to go live very often. And yeah, I needed tonight. I needed to be with some of my other quilters. And so yeah, if you have any other questions, please stick them in the chat. I'm going to write down these ideas really, really quick. And then I will answer your questions. There's all kinds of fun things that you can get at the dollar store, by the way. If you're looking at organizing, I have a organizing video that I did where all of their, like, oh my gosh, guys, it's almost back to school. Well, it is like back to school, but I hadn't thought about doing that. I need to tell y'all and show you some of the fun things that are at like the back to school aisles, because this is the time to stock up on organizing tools, organizing supplies, like the fun baskets and stuff. I love to go to Target and I love to look at all of the college essentials, even though I'm a little bit past that point in my life. But like, I absolutely loved back to school because I love to organize. And what do they sell like at back to school time? They sell the idea that you can go back to school and be an organized, wonderful human being. But now that I'm not going to school anymore, thank goodness, I like to organize my house. I like to organize my pantry. My pantry is all with back to school type stuff. My sewing room, I have several videos on YouTube that I've shared that type of, what can you find at the dollar store? What did I find at Target? Budget wise stuff, not necessarily the high end things, because that's not usually what I go for. I usually find like, I'd rather spend my money on fabric and other things that my family needs, not necessarily the box that I'm going to put it in. So there's that as well. And so yes, now is the time, if you've been thinking about organizing and thinking about like, maybe I should buy like a couple pretty boxes. First of all, check your space. Second of all, figure out what you actually need. Because in my experience, going and buying a bunch of boxes does not make you an organized person. Okay. You need to figure out and assess what your space actually needs in order to do that, right? You need to figure out like, do I need one box? Do I need 10 boxes? Or, you're just going to end up filling those boxes with things that you don't actually need, but you just want to store them. Let's see, what am I missing over here? So you hand baste your quilts. Absolutely the best method. No worries about spray fumes or sewing over needles. Yeah, hand basting is great. It does take extra time, but that is an awesome method to make sure that everything stays exactly where you want it. You need to sew cork pieces together to accomplish the pattern length for the straps and a bag. I think I missed the beginning of this. Let's see, Serenity, I kind of missed the beginning. Let me see if I can scroll up just a second and see what it is. You buy the plastic file folders, but yes, that's true. You have to be careful not to shave around those templates because you don't want to change the size in it. You need to know how to sew cork pieces together to accomplish a pattern length for straps for a bag, and your stitches won't hold. So cork is porous, right? And it does tear. So my suggestion would be to make sure that your cork is actually really, really sturdy. You may have to like back it with another fabric and use the cork as like an accent. So like, for instance, I don't have anything right here that I can show you on, but I can. Oh, wait. Oh, this is very handy. Okay. I have a strap here. So like if you're looking like at a strap for a bag, for example, you may put like the cork as an accent and use the fabric as the sturdy part. Okay. So you would just sew on either side of the cork to make it the accent and then use like a fabric because even here they've like had to reinforce this multiple times to get it to be sturdy and last a long time. So I don't know what pattern you're working on, if that would actually work for the design, but you're going to need to figure out a way to reinforce the cork, either like double, triple it up, to where you're like folding it multiple times in order to make the strap, or use it just as an accent and sew it and then use the fabric as the actually strength of the strap. See if that helps. And you're welcome to email me, and I don't know, I'm giving you ideas here, having absolutely no idea what the project is, but you're welcome to email me some pictures of it, and we can see if we can come up with a way to make it work for you. So hopefully that answered your question there. Because it's kind of hard to tell you without seeing the pattern, but I'm happy to help either way. Oh, good. It did help. You're welcome. I'm glad that I was able to help. And I mean, who else would have a random purse strap in their right next to their desk but a crafty person, right? Always prepared. I mean, that's just how life is. You have to be prepared. So, yeah, I hope that y'all are enjoying some time to sew. It's getting like, close to the end of summer for us here, and time seems to just be like slipping away faster and faster and faster. But, if I haven't already said it tonight, I think it's really, really important to set aside time for creativity. You've already set aside almost an hour to watch me talk about quilting, which is amazing. And I appreciate you all so much for taking this time. But make sure that you're setting aside time for yourself too. Make sure that you are, if you get a random idea, I have like a note section in my phone where it's probably absolute gibberish to anybody else but me. But, make sure you write those down. Make sure you're taking time to file things away in Pinterest. Make sure that you are, taking time to love on yourself, no matter if that's going to the coffee shop and sitting in the quiet for a few minutes, or whether it's spending 10 minutes on your sewing machine because you just need to get out some thoughts and some ideas. It's important to make sure you have that creative time for yourself, because if you really think long and hard about like the person that you care about most in this world, which could be a spouse, it could be a best friend, it could be a family member, any of those people, you would definitely want them to not go crazy in all of the busyness that the world has right now, and all of like, job demands and family demands and all of that. You wouldn't want them to go crazy. You would want them to take 10 minutes, or even better, if you can get away with like one evening a week or 2 evenings a week, or like a Saturday afternoon or something like that, to take time for yourself. If you would want that for somebody else, just when you're feeling guilty in yourself, because I'm a mom, I have 2 kids. I do feel guilty sometimes. I get caught up in that trap. But if I would want that for somebody else, then I know that I deserve that as well. So make sure that you are taking that time. Cynthia, you need to finish your Say Something quilt. You haven't finished it yet. It was so amazing. Yeah, you should finish that one. I mean, I'm going to say perhaps there's a retreat coming up that would give you the focused time to be working on that quilt. So, just putting that out there as I say how important it is to work on things. And it's okay to have unfinished projects. I'm not at all giving you a hard time about that, because I'm not going to tour my sewing room right now and show you the unfinished projects that I have because it's far too high. It's far too high. But so yeah, make sure you're taking time for yourself. That was the whole like not rant, but like focus of what I just said a few minutes ago. It is important. And let's see. Marie says I can't wait to start now. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Marie. That's really sweet. If you have any questions in that, please let me know because I really am happy to help you with the beginning quilting stages and all of that. I am self-taught, okay? And now by self-taught, that does not mean that I locked myself into a room and then just didn't come out until I was an expert quilter. And I'm so far from an expert quilter because every time I learn something new, it is a reminder that there's tons of things out there that I don't know, and I will always be finding something that I don't know. So if somebody tells you that they're an expert quilter, they're an expert in what they know. They're not an expert in absolutely everything out there. So I am always growing as a quilter. But by when I say self-taught, that means that like I gained knowledge from absolutely anybody who would talk to me at the craft store or at the fabric store. If I found somebody on a aisle that had fabrics that I kind of liked, I'd be like, where do you learn from? Do you have like a guild that you go to? Do you have meetings? Do you have a quilt group? Who do you follow online? I learned a lot from online. So I have multiple teachers, but I kind of curated that content and made it into the modern content that I really love. And what really struck me is a lot of people do things the hard way, or they seem to do things the hard way, at least. They don't cut corners where I think that corners could be cut. And that's kind of where I like to share is like the tips and tricks that I figured out that like, hey, you don't have to do it this way. There are other ways. And I think once your brain opens up to the possibility of all the other options out there, you start to realize that like, there's no one way to do this craft. Same as any other artist out there is there's no one way to do it. There's multiple ways to achieve the same results, but figuring out the way that works for you is what is most important, right? The retreat. So if you weren't here a little bit earlier, I have a retreat. I will be releasing all of the information for it tomorrow. The dates for it are September 24th through the 26th. It's a virtual retreat, so you don't have to travel for it. You can do it all online. It worked really, really well last summer when I did another retreat, and I will be releasing all the information on it tomorrow. Okay, so you'll hear everything and all of the fun things that I have planned for you. Okay, so Ramika says, I have a brother something. How can I figure out how to set a 2.0 stitch length? That's going to be either a Google search or looking through your book, because yes, you can adjust the stitch length on all sewing machines. Okay, so the stitch length is from the time that the needle goes down and comes back up and the fabric moves and the needle goes down again. That's going to be like the length of your stitch. But you can set stitch lengths for different projects because they do have different uses. So I don't have a Brother machine. I have an embroidery machine that's a Brother, but I don't have a Brother sewing machine. So I'm not quite familiar with where everything is on that. If you still need help with that, I have a friend who has a Brother. I don't know if it's that machine model, but email me the model number and I can see if she can help if you can't figure it out on Google or on your sewing machine booklet. If you have that, that's really, really helpful, is to have the actual book that came with the sewing machine. You guys are cracking me up over here in the chat. Yes. You want me to put a link to my website? I can do that. Here we go. That's me. So that link will go to the homepage. Also, underneath this video, once it's posted, any of the videos on my YouTube channel as well, if you go into the description, I have links underneath all of those as well that have my website in them, as well as my Instagram, and my Pinterest link is on there too, I believe. So lots of good tips and all of that are on those. Let's see. Anything else that I was going to tell you guys tonight? Mary, I understand like how hard it is when you have quilting buddies that are far away, but I think Zoom has really changed things for a lot of quilters, because I have found, especially in the classes that I teach, like it doesn't matter where you live, you all still get together and chat over Zoom. It is really hard to sew while you're on Zoom because it gets really loud and it's kind of crazy, but it's really fun to maybe like pick a pattern so that you can stay connected with those people and all work on the same pattern and kind of, encourage each other along the way, even though you can't like sit next to each other. And so I think perhaps next year I'm going to organize an in-person retreat. And that's going to take a little bit more unfamiliar territory for me, as far as making sure that all my ducks are in a row for that. But I have a place in mind, and I would really, really love to host an in-person retreat. Another thing that is happening in October this year is the International Quilt Fest. Now that is in Houston, Texas, my hometown. And if you want to travel to the largest quilting convention, or quilting festival rather, convention is the same thing, but it sounds a little bit too, I don't know, too business-like because we have so much fun. But if you're looking to travel to the largest quilt show in the world, that's the one to go to. And if you are going to be there this year, if you're planning on attending the International Quilt Festival in October of 2021, you have to let me know, because I want to see you, and I want to say hi to some of the people that I've gotten to meet and get to know online, as well as I have a dinner that I am planning. So I'm having a nice, beautiful dinner party where we're going to get to meet, we're going to get to chat, we're going to go, I have gifts and things that I am working on getting all together. But if you want to see me in person and definitely give hugs to all the people that I have wanted to give hugs to for a very long time, that'll be a really, really fun event to go to as well. So let's see. I think I'm right at an hour right now. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but so we're going to kind of cap this right now. If you have any other questions, please feel free to email me. I put my website link in the chat, or underneath any of my YouTube videos. You can see that my website link, there is a contact form on there. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, or just comment on the videos if you have questions about any of those topics as well. I'm happy to answer them. Thank you so much for this wonderful evening and for coming on here to chat with me. I've had a really good time, and I've really enjoyed hearing about all the wonderful things that you're doing. And I hope that I will get to see you again soon. I love these live videos. I need to do them more often so that so that we can enjoy some time together. But I hope that you've had fun, and I'll talk to you soon. I'll see y'all soon. I'm going to release more information about the quilt retreat tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. And y'all have a good night. Mwah! I'll see you soon. Bye. It's not letting me in the stream. Here we go. Okay, for real this time. Bye, guys.